I want to take you back to my childhood experience in China. Imagine yourself sitting in a classroom where rules are clear, listen to the teacher, take notes, and memorize. Above all, the most important things is do not ask too many questions. This is the educational system I grew up in, a system that designed to reward discipline, repetition, and high test scores, but one that left little room for curiosity. Curiosity, I later realized, is the driving force behind learning. It is what makes us innovate, explore, and find joy in discovery. Yet, for the longest time, I did not even recognize curiosity, the importance of curiosity, because I was told to follow rules rather than question them. Today, I want to share my journey of rediscovering curiosity after moving from China to the United States, and how this transformed my life, from starting a cookie business to rethinking the way I approach challenges. In China, the education system is centered around one ultimate goal: succeeding on Gaokao, the college national entrance examination. The stakes are extraordinarily high. As students perform on this exam will determine their chances of getting into a prestigious university, securing a good job, and to some extent their social status. So this pressure trickles down into every exam, starting as early as elementary school. By the time I reached middle school, the system was deeply ingrained in my life. Like classes were structured around book memorization and strict adherence to the curriculum. If you excelled academically, you will be placed in advanced classes with better teachers and resources. If you did not, then you were relegated to normal classes where expectations were lower. The emphasis was always on the outcomes, grades, ranking, and results. What was missing, however, was a sense of wonder. In those classrooms, curiosity often seen as a distraction. Asking why meant to slowing down the teacher and diverting from the syllabus. The goal was not to explore or understand, it was to memorize, perform, and move on. At first, I did not question the system, because I think it's normal, like everyone around me was learned by that. But as the years went by, I started to have a growing sense of frustration. I was like, oh, I love reading, learning new things, but it seems like I never have time to do that, because I was too busy preparing for tests, completing assignments, and staying ahead in a never-ending competition. When I first arrived in the United States, everything felt different. The classroom environment was a stark contrast to what I've known in China. I could ask questions freely, engage in classroom, and then explore subjects beyond what is prescribed curriculum. This new sense of freedom was like a breath of fresh air. It was the first time I've experienced an education system that encouraged exploration rather than simply getting the right answer. At first, I struggled. Like, I have spent so many years suppressing my natural curiosity, focusing instead on memorization, so it's difficult for me to embrace into this new mindset. I remember being in class, hearing a question asked, and I have no idea how to respond because the answer wasn't on the textbook or in the exam. It was in the curiosity of discovering something new. But slowly I began to open up to this new way of thinking. I began to wonder why things work the way they did and how to find solutions to the problems. The shift was small at first, just a few questions here and there, but it grew. I found curiosity has already become my guide in everything I did, from schoolwork to creative projects. And as I settled into my new environment, I began to apply this newfound curiosity into all aspects of my life. I became more involved in extracurricular activities, and one of the first things I decided to pursue was starting my own business. I always loved baking, but in China, I never considered it more than a hobby. But here, I view it as an opportunity to explore and experiment. And so I started my cookie business. At first, I used the most traditional approach. I sold it like door by door in my neighborhood. And it was like, I have to admit, it's way more challenging than I expected. So the first night I baked started at 8:30 p.m., trying to perfect the bake. And by the last year I finished, it was at 2 a.m. But I didn't just like stop there. I kept going. I tried different flavors and techniques, asking my neighbors for feedbacks and learning from every mistakes. Through this process, I encountered a problem. It's like many of my neighbors, they did not eat eggs. I think it's kind of common because like religious problems, so many of them do not eat eggs. But then egg was an essential ingredient in my recipe. So my instinct thought was, oh, I should give up. But then my curiosity kicked in. I was like, I asked myself, why is egg so essential in baking? What does it do to the texture and taste of cookies? So this simple question led me to spend hours on researching, experimenting with egg alternatives, and finally discovering a recipe that worked. That curiosity did not just help me in my cookie business, it helped me connect with my community in a deeper way. Through each conversation, I learned something new, whether it's like from a tip from an elder neighbor who used to bake cakes, or a suggestion from a fellow high school student. Just like curiosity did not just help me in the kitchen, it helped me to build relationship and grew my business and learn from new experiences. This process of experimenting and questioning is actually backed by science. So research has shown that curiosity is not an abstract concept, because curiosity, it has tangible benefits. Curiosity stimulates your cognitive and emotional development, and it encourages critical thinking and creative problem solving. In fact, study has shown that curiosity activates brain's reward system, which releases dopamine, the same chemical associated with pleasure and motivation. So when you're curious, you're not just satisfying your mental itch, you're actually reinforcing your brain's ability to learn and grow. In contrast, the traditional rigid education system I experienced in China, students are encouraged to memorize and perform rather than ask questions and explore. That not only stifles creativity, but also discourages students from independent thinking. Well, I know academic excellency is important, but an overemphasis on memorization can prevent students from fully developing critical thinking and problem-solving skills that are so essential in real world. Well, I have seen this firsthand in my own life. When I moved to the US, I was exposed in a system that not only just valued the ability to answer the questions, but it also valued the ability to ask the right ones. In schools, I can explore more subjects beyond the textbook, and this led me to discover my passion. But it was not just in school that has changed. Curiosity has blended into every part of my life. As I mentioned earlier, starting my cookie business was one of the first places I saw curiosity has played out in my life. I remember the first time I set out and sell the cookies I baked. So I was nervous and unsure. I had to knock door by door, not knowing how people would react. And the first few doors, they're like kind of awkward. Like most people decline after I explained that my cookie contained eggs. But I did not just stop there. I asked myself, what did my customer really want? And that is when I decided to try different recipes using different ingredients, and that is the curiosity plays out. What I learned is that curiosity leads to innovation. I could simply just stuck onto one type of cookies, but I want to understand what my customers really wanted. I wanted to try all the possibilities. And so as a result, my business grew. And my neighbors were not only my customers, they became my partners in my journey of discovery. The journey of curiosity has had a profound emotional impact on me. I remember one moment I was selling cookies door to door, and that day I felt a little bit down because the first few sales did not go great, and I was exhausted and frustrated. And then one of my neighbors, she's an English teacher, she just walked by, and then she saw me, so she stopped, and we have a little conversation. And after hearing my story, she encouraged me, saying, "Oh, Sarah, you have done great. You have took the first step, which is so important that most people don't dare to take the first step." Those words meant a lot to me, and they reminded me that curiosity is not about immediate success, it's about the journey, the questions, and the growth that comes from challenges. And at that moment, I realized curiosity is not just an academic tool. It's about way of life. It's about open to experiences, learning from failures, and building more relationships. And this mindset has shaped everything I did now, from school to business. As I reflected on my journey, I realized how much the American education system has shaped my ability to be curious. In China, curiosity often took a backseat to academic achievement. But in America, curiosity is encouraged, valued, and nurtured. And it's not just in the classroom. The cookie business I started wasn't just about baking or selling cookies. It's all about exploring new possibilities, asking questions, and learning from new experiences. So here, I want to encourage all of you to embrace curiosity, no matter where it takes you, whether it's in the classroom, in school, in business, in life. Curiosity is always the key to innovation, and sometimes maybe it's just the secret ingredients that turns ordinary to extraordinary. Thank you for listening.